say that communication is a two-way process of reaching mutual understanding in which participants not only exchange news, information, ideas and feelings, but also create and share meaning. But in practical terms, how do we actually create meaning? And what are the factors involved in sharing what we mean with another person and for us to understand what they mean? Since we're going to focus on meaning in the next group of tutorials, we should probably try to come up with a simple definition first. But apparently a simple definition is difficult to come up with. Philosophers have debated the question of what meaning is, with particular reference to language, for well over 2,000 years. No one has yet produced a satisfactory answer to it. But even though philosophers haven't pinned it down yet, maybe if we give them another 2,000 years, we still have a pretty good idea of what meaning is. We might have trouble defining it, but we probably all have some sense of what it is. We are able to understand sentences such as, "What is the meaning of mallephile?" or "What does mallephile mean?" In case you're wondering, it's one who loves apples. And we can ask and understand similar questions about other languages. For example, what is the meaning in English of the Arta word lavuhi, banana? Or what does casa, the Spanish word, mean in English? And it means house. If we know the word or the language involved, we can answer these kinds of questions, which shows that we do know at some level what meaning is, even if we can't put it into words. We said before that communication involves creating and sharing meaning. When we listen to someone speaking, we're trying to understand what they mean by what they're saying. This is actually a very complicated process, and it doesn't just involve the words being spoken or the way those words are put together into sentences, but it also involves other things like the relationship we have with the person speaking, their cultural background, and the social context we're in. All of these considerations in the area of meaning in language are together referred to as semantics and pragmatics. It has been generally assumed that we have to understand two types of meaning to understand what the speaker means by uttering a sentence. A sentence expresses a more or less complete propositional content, which is semantic meaning, and extra pragmatic meaning comes from a particular context in which the sentence is uttered. Semantics is the structured system of meaning within individual languages. It is the way the grammar and lexicon, the vocabulary or units of meaning of a language, construct meaning in words and sentences, and the way parts of sentences relate to each other in terms of meaning. Native speakers have an unconscious knowledge of the operation of semantics, of meaning, in their language. Semantics is the part of grammar that builds meaning and controls the relationship between the meanings of words and phrases. Pragmatics is concerned with the use of language in real interaction in real social contexts and the ways in which people produce and comprehend meanings through language. Some examples might be asking someone to put the kettle on when you really want them to make you a cup of coffee, or saying that it's a cold day today when you want them to close the window. Pragmatics looks at the practical aspects of human action and thought and the use of linguistic signs, words and sentences, in actual situations. We'll be looking at semantics and pragmatics in more detail in the next tutorials and discover the nuts and bolts of how they work. But first, we want to start with a bigger picture of the importance of this area to cross-cultural communicators. Probably you can already see why it is important for those whose goal is to communicate spiritual truth into another language and cultural situation to have a good understanding of how meaning is created and shared in that context. But now, you're going to listen to a program that explores these ideas in more depth. Language and Meaning, an Ojibwe Story.